The story begins in a world teetering on the edge of total climate collapse and geopolitical disintegration, where high technology has become both a sanctuary and a digital cage. The protagonist, Robert Conway, is a weary British diplomat tasked with evacuating the last Western nationals from a brutal war zone in Central Asia. The film immediately establishes an apocalyptic atmosphere, with ash-choked skies and a sense of terminal tension. During the chaotic takeoff of a makeshift transport plane, Conway and a small group of survivors, his rebellious younger brother George, a cynical investigative journalist named Maria, and a disgraced billionaire named Mallinson, realize that the pilot is not who he claims to be. Instead of heading for the safety of India, the plane veers deep into the unexplored, jagged peaks of the Himalayas, eventually crashing on a remote glacial plateau after a harrowing encounter with strange electromagnetic storms. As the survivors prepare for an icy death, they are rescued by a mysterious caravan led by a man named Chang, who speaks perfect English and wears timeless, elegant silks. He guides them through a hidden rock passage into a concealed valley, Shangri-La. The visual contrast is breathtaking. Moving from the eternal winter of the mountains, the group enters a lush, temperate paradise protected by advanced atmospheric shielding and bioluminescent technology that bathes the valley in a perpetual, golden twilight. Conway is instantly captivated by the profound serenity of the place, but Maria and Mallinson remain suspicious, fearing they have stumbled into a high-tech cult or a secret military installation. They are housed in a lamasery that fuses ancient Tibetan architecture with sleek, minimalist futuristic design, a place where time itself seems to have lost its grip. The narrative then delves into the core philosophy of Shangri-La, which is built on the principle of moderation in all things. Conway eventually meets the High Lama, a near-mythical figure who is revealed to be a former European scientist who discovered the valley in the 19th century. Through a combination of unique local flora and cellular regeneration technology, the inhabitants of the valley live for hundreds of years without aging. The Lama explains to Conway that Shangri-La is more than just a hiding spot, it is a repository for human culture. As the outside world consumes itself in fire and greed, the monks of the valley curate the masterpieces of art, music, and science to preserve the seed of humanity for a distant future. Conway begins to feel a peace he has never known, gradually shedding the weight of his former life and responsibilities. However, this utopia harbors dark secrets. Maria discovers that many residents are not there entirely by choice, and that the longevity process comes with a terrifying caveat: once someone has stayed in the valley past their natural lifespan, the effect is irreversible. Leaving the valley's unique environment triggers a fatal, accelerated aging process that can turn a youthful-looking person into dust within hours. This revelation fractures the group. George falls deeply in love with a young woman named Lo Tsen, who appears to be 20 but is actually over a century old. Desperate to see the modern world she has only read about in the valley's vast digital archives, Lo Tsen manipulates George into orchestrating an escape, forcing Conway into a heart-wrenching choice between his loyalty to his brother and his growing destiny as the Lama's successor. The emotional climax occurs when the High Lama passes away, leaving Conway the keys to the valley's future. At that same moment, George and Mallinson confront Conway with claims that Shangri-La's peace is merely a sophisticated form of neural apathy maintained by subtle frequency control. Doubting his own senses and the reality of his spiritual awakening, Conway agrees to flee with them into the night. Their trek through the mountains is a brutal struggle against the elements. Outside the valley's protective sphere, the tragedy unfolds with horrific speed. Lotsen begins to transform before George's eyes. Her youth vanishes, her skin withers into deep wrinkles, and she dies of extreme old age in a single night, proving that the High Lama's warnings were not a control tactic, but a biological reality. Driven mad by grief and guilt, George loses his footing and falls into a deep crevasse, leaving Conway as the sole, traumatized survivor. Found weeks later by a rescue patrol in a border town, Conway is brought back to the modern world, but his spirit remains trapped in the mountains. He spends the final act of the film as a ghost of a man, liquidating his assets and obsessively searching for the entrance to the valley. The movie ends on an ambiguous, cinematic note. An aged and exhausted Conway is seen struggling through a blinding whiteout in the Himalayas when he suddenly spots the faint, golden bioluminescence of the valley through the storm. It is left to the viewer to decide if he has finally found his way back home or if he is simply experiencing a beautiful hallucination in his final moments. Lost Horizon 2025 successfully modernizes the classic tale by integrating contemporary anxieties about civilizational collapse and the ethics of isolationism. The luxury of the valley is no longer just spiritual, it is presented as a desperate necessity in a world that has become unlivable. The film poses a haunting question: is it moral to build a perfect tower of ivory while the rest of the world suffers, or is the preservation of beauty the only thing that truly matters in the end? Conway's journey from a cynical diplomat to a man willing to sacrifice everything for a glimpse of an impossible ideal serves as a powerful meditation on the human search for meaning and the heavy price of immortality.